Good afternoon everyone and welcome to our health and wellbeing session for this afternoon. As I'm sure you are aware, this week is Children's Mental Health Week and we are going to be doing an activity this afternoon which will help us to think about some of our feelings and be able to express ourselves a little bit better. What we would like to do this afternoon is really get you thinking about your feelings, and we're going to do that through art. It's very important that you feel comfortable being able to talk about your feelings and be able to express your feelings either to mums and dads, to brothers and sisters, to friends, but also that you remember that there are lots of people in school that you can talk to. If at any point you feel that you need to talk to someone or have something that you want to share with us, please remember that as your teachers, we are always available, as well as all of the other staff that work in the school too. So this afternoon we are going to do an art activity. We're going to draw a picture which is going to help us to express our feelings. I'm just going to share with you our learning intention and our success criteria so you know what we're working on. So we are learning to express ourselves through art. Now we have quite a few success criteria here. Success criteria number 1 is I can use art to express my feelings. The second one is I can share my feelings and think about, in particular, a time that I have felt angry. Now we are going to use a picture today and specifically focusing on on a time where we have felt angry. You don't need to focus on anger if you're feeling particularly happy about something, or if you're feeling sad or frustrated. You could choose to draw a different picture, but just for today I'm going to focus on a picture that helps me to express a feeling of anger. My last success criteria is I know what to do to make myself feel better. Now I have already said that as your teachers we are always available to talk to you if you need us. You can send us an email. I know that during lockdown it's all a little bit different and we're not always quite as accessible, but you have to remember that you can always message us. You have your point on Teams where you can get in contact with us, and we are always there to help if we can. If you feel more comfortable expressing yourself in another way, you could maybe choose a colour. If you're feeling particularly happy one day, you might want to put on your colour that makes you feel happy. If you enjoy role play, you could do a little drama. If you have lots of toy figures at home, you could maybe do a wee show for maybe mum or dad where you could show and express your feelings. We're going to do a picture and we're going to be using the anger character from the movie Inside Out. Now you'll know that there's lots of different feelings in Inside Out, but we are going to focus on anger today. I'm going to draw it. I would love it if you would like to draw along with me, and hopefully by the end of it we'll have a really nice picture that you might just want to share with somebody and talk about a time that you have maybe felt angry and what you did to make yourself feel better. I hope you enjoy this afternoon's activity and I look forward to seeing some of your pictures. Now before we begin, the resources that I have are a black Sharpie pen. It doesn't need to be a Sharpie pen, this is what I'm going to use to draw my picture. I also have a selection of different resources for colouring. Now I have got some coloured pens, I also have some crayons, and I also have pencils and oil pastels. What you use to colour your picture in is completely up to you. If you do use a Sharpie pen, just from experience, it's very important that you double your paper up. So I have got a sheet of paper underneath my original one so that I don't leave any marks on my wall. In your case, it's probably so you don't leave any marks on mum or dad's table. So we're going to draw our character Anger from Inside Out. Mrs. McGonagall always says, art is open to interpretation, so don't worry if yours looks different to mine. It's also really important that we look just at simple shapes that we can see in a picture when we're going to draw it, just so that it makes it easier for us to draw it, and also you realise that actually I can draw a circle or I can draw a square or a rectangle, and you'll realise that you can draw the picture. So I have got a nice big bit of paper. My paper has been put portrait because we're going to be drawing the character, so it's a portrait picture that we're going to do. And if you know the film Inside Out, Anger has an almost square rectangular face, but his face goes into a kind of heart shape at the top. So that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start in about the middle of my page, not quite, maybe slightly higher, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top, to there, and then I'm going to do my kind of heart shape like that. And then I'm going to come all the way down. Okay, so I have gone up into my heart shape and down. Then what I'm going to do is just put a slight curve on there. And from there, I'm going to join my line with another slight curve going up like that. Okay? From here, I'm going to add in what is going to be my character's eyebrows. So I put that in there and I go up. So I have followed the same heart shape. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my character's eyes in. You'll notice my picture is not teeny tiny. It is quite big and it does quite well to fill my page. So my eyes are the same. He has got quite big eyes. So I'm going to put in my eyes. Now his eyes are almost oval in shape. So I'm just going to put them in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the coloured part of his eye and the pupil in his eye. So because he's angry, his eyes are in at the side. We might call them beady angry eyes he's got. He's got angry eyes on today. And then I'm going to put the pupil in black in both of those eyes. Okay? From here I'm going to do his angry mouth. He's got a real angry, shouty mouth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, and it's almost a square rectangular shape. It's going to fill this space in here. So it's going to go from right underneath his eyes, I'm going to go across. Then I'm going to come down. He's got a really big, wide mouth today. Then on the other side, I'm going to come down into his big, wide mouth, and I'm going to join those 2 points like that. Now what I'm going to do is add his teeth. He has got a row of teeth on the top, but before I do that, to make it a little bit more 3D, I'm just going to draw a line on the inside, like that, and then I'm going to draw the line all the way across to here, and all the way down to the bottom there. I don't need it at the bottom because that's where we're going to put his teeth. So from the top, I'm going to do his top teeth first. I'm going to come out with one and join it on. That's his first tooth. These are almost like rectangles. All of his teeth are a kind of rectangular shape. So that next one's going to be slightly bigger. And then the next one's going to be bigger still. Then the next one's going to be a slightly shorter tooth. Then another one here. And then a final tooth just at the corner. So that is his top teeth, and they're all sort of square rectangular shapes. The next one I'm going to do is the bottom teeth. So I start, that one, just because of where it's positioned, ends up a bit like a triangle. Then the next tooth is going to be shorter, and then the next one is going to be a little bit taller, and then the next one smaller, until we do his last tooth, which is again a little bit like a triangle at the end. Now in his mouth, what I'm going to add is his tongue, because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but in my picture of anger, I think he is shouting, he's going, ah! And you'll notice that you can actually see my tongue when I do it too. So I'm going to put almost like a seagull shape again, similar to this up here, only just a little bit of a smaller dip. So there's my first one and my second one, and you will see that that now looks like his tongue in his mouth because he's shouting, ah! He's obviously very angry about something. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it as I've finished our face. If at any point I was going too fast, remember you can pause the video just to catch up until you get to the same point as me. Now, the next bit I'm going to do is his arm that comes out here, and he's got a clenched fist. So he's wearing a shirt, and I'm going to bring his sleeve out first of all. So there's the first part of his sleeve. Then I'm going to have a line that comes down like that. I'm going to double that line up by doing that. So it almost looks like a little flag sticking out. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to add in his fingers. So like I said, he's got a clenched fist like this, okay? So his hand comes out, and then to do his fingers, I'm just going to curl them around, okay? I'm going to curl them around. Curl them around until I have done all of his fingers. So hopefully you have caught up. I have drawn my first hand, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line all the way down to there. So you can just start to see he's obviously angry and he's got his hands up. I'm now going to move to the next side, and I have just one wee line where I'm going to put my collar in. So my shirt collar is going to go in like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my next arm, and going up again to one side, and exactly the same as what we did here, I'm going to draw my cuff. So I draw a rectangle that will become the cuff of my shirt. Then I'm going to draw my hand again, this time starting with my thumb, and I'm now going to put my fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then joining my hand up to my shirt. The same as the other side, I'm going to bring my line in and down ever so slightly. I'm just going to extend that line there and that line there. I've done one collar. I'm now going to do the shirt collar on the other side. So I'm just going to put my little, I'm going to leave space because he is wearing a tie. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space, do this, in a little triangle, and the same at the other side. And then from the triangle, I'm going to come down from the triangle a little bit longer, and then I'm going to join the bottom of my collar up to the underneath part of my raised shoulder, just like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the tie into here. So a tie is almost like a square but with slightly rounded edges, and I'm just going to attach my tie with two little lines. From there I'm going to have my tie coming down with a little wave on it. So one with a wave coming down, and then the other with a wave at the other side. Remember, you can pause at any time if you need to catch up. So hopefully you are at the same stage in your drawing as me, and like I've said, pause at any time if you need to catch up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do his belt. Now I have put the tie in first because my belt is now going to come behind my tie, and I'm just going to bring it down ever so slightly, and then I'm going to draw my line from one side, lift off when I get to the tie in the middle, and then go to the other side. Then I'm going to add another line running alongside it, so it'll run parallel to it, so across and then up to the other side and meet it in the middle. That is his belt. I'm now going to put in some little belt loops in his trousers. So there are my belt loops. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in his trousers, and he's jumping. Remember, he's feeling angry. So he's jumping up in the air because he's really angry, and I think he's obviously shouting. So starting with the trousers, I'm going to come out to one side like that. And then I'm going to do the same at the other side, only this time it comes out slightly straighter. The same as my shirt. He has got a little overlap on his trousers, so I'm going to put my trouser overlapping like that. So I've got my almost like a banana or a moon shape. Then I'm going to draw a little bit wider, and I'm going to do exactly the same line on the other side like that. Then I'm going to bring the inside of his leg up, not quite touching his tie, and then down again. And this is now, I've got to join these ones up to draw his legs at the other side. So I'm going to draw my line again in a banana shape, and then I'm going to draw a banana shape running parallel to it. The next thing we need to add is his shoes. Now, I'm just going to put in, his shoe is going to come out ever so slightly from here, and then it comes down. I hope I actually might just need to adjust my camera ever so slightly for you. That may be a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sole of my shoe, and then that shape coming across here. I hope you can see that. Then I'm going to draw the sole going like that. Okay, so you will just see my shoe. I'm also going to put a heel in the bottom of my shoe with 2 lines. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now, because he's jumping high up in the air, this shoe is going to come out ever so slightly higher. So I'm just going to put a little dark line there. It's going to come down, and then it's going to go down into the sole of his shoe there. From there, I'm going to join that line up to here. So I've joined those 2 lines, and then my heel goes in straight across 1 line, and then straight across 2 lines. And that is the heel of my shoe. Well done if you have managed to keep up. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if you have fallen ever so slightly behind. The last bit of my picture is going to be the flames in his head. He is very angry about something. So I'm going to come up in a wiggly line, up and down, up and down, up and down, until I get to the end, and then I'm going to finish with a wiggly line. So that is the fire and the flames that are coming out of my anger picture's head. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start colouring it in. I will keep the video running, but I will speed it up for you so that you will just see the colours that I am going to colour in my character. So I will keep the video running just so that you can see it. Remember what I said, a whole selection of different resources that you can use. I am using a mixture of crayons, felt tip pens and Sharpies to colour in my picture. Okay, that is the outline of my red face done. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to take a red pen and I'm going to mix it up a wee bit. So I'm going to make this line on the inside darker using red pen. So you can mix your resources. You don't need to use only felt tip pen or only crayon. To add it a wee bit more 3D depth to it, you can choose some different colours. I'm also, it might not work too well now because I've done it in crayon, but I'm going to add a little line across the tops underneath just as I'm colouring in to make it look a wee bit more 3D. Okay, so just at the bits where there's little creases or different things, like underneath the collar of his shirt, you can make it stand out a little bit better by adding a wee bit more detail. I can also go round the top of his fingers where his fists are clenched. So that is my red colour done. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to do his eyes. He has got a little brown eye, so I'm just going to add his eyes in brown. He also has these flames at the top. Now, I'm going to do these lots of different colours, just like a flame would be in a fire. So starting with the lightest yellow that you have, a highlighter would probably work for this. Starting with the lightest yellow colour you have, which in my case is probably going to be a crayon. So I'm just going to draw some lines up to show the fire. Okay, then I'm going to take a slightly darker colour and I'm going to colour the next layer. Now, not going quite to the top, but I'm going to draw another layer of fire. That's me. And now I'm going to take a darker orange colour again, and I'm going to go on top of that. So you can see I'm starting to get a more realistic flame at the top of my picture. And then finally, taking my red and just doing the tips of the flames. So there we go, we can see that he is very angry. I'm now going to colour in the rest of him. Now the only bit that needs coloured actually is his trousers and his tie and his shoes. I'm going to choose a pattern for my tie. You can choose whatever pattern you like. I'll do it the same as the one in the movie Inside Out, and he has a stripy tie, but if you want to do the tie any style you like, that can be where your artwork is open to interpretation. So I am going to do the triangles on his tie. Just like that. And then I'm going to add a few different coloured stripes. I'll put that on there. And now I'm just going to choose a different colour. I'm going to choose a blue. And I'm going to put a blue stripe on my tie. So wherever there's a red stripe, I'll put a blue one in. And then I might just add in a little green too. Excuse me as I'm stretching for my pens. And I will put in a little green one too. So there we go. There is his tie. The next bit I'm going to move on to is his belt. Now I am going to do his belt brown. So just taking my brown pen and I am going to colour in the belt brown, a brown leather belt. Now depending on what colour you do his trousers, that will be the colour that these little belt loops will be. So if I finish colouring it off brown, his belt, like that, this one here. And that is his belt finished there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour in his trousers and his shoes. So I am going to colour in his trousers a kind of grey colour. In the movie, his trousers are kind of purpley, grey, browny colour. I can't find my particularly thick grey brown crayon, so I'm going to use this one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is colour in the belt buckles, because that is part of the trousers. And now I'm going to colour in his trousers using this colour. And there we go, I have coloured in his trousers. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is colour in his shoes. I'm just going to tilt my camera ever so slightly in the hope that you can see the bottom of his shoes. So I'm going to use a black I have coloured in his shoes, and what I'm also going to do is use this crayon just to add little bits of detail to the drawing that I already have. So just making some bits a little bit darker so it doesn't look quite so flat. I'm going to use the same crayon to do the inside of his mouth. So I'm going to colour his whole mouth in black, leaving the teeth and the tongue. Okay, that is it coloured in black. The next thing I need is a pink for his tongue. So let's just colour that in pink. There we go. That is his tongue. I have noticed that I have got a little bit just here that needs to be coloured in red. And there we have it, our character from Inside Out. He is quite obviously, I think, the anger character. The reason we have drawn him today is because I want you to think about a time where you have maybe felt a little bit angry. Now, particularly during lockdown, I think we can all probably think of some times that we felt a little bit angry. The important thing is that we can talk about our feelings or express our feelings the same way we have done today through a piece of art. Drawing this, it has made me think about maybe sometimes over the last few weeks where I have felt angry, and it was probably over something a little bit silly, like my boys fighting over watching something on the television, or somebody not getting a piece of home learning finished. I'm sure some of you are feeling the same, that you feel a little bit angry if mum or dad are moaning at you or nagging at you. So I am, in my house, I am the nag, and sometimes it makes me feel a little bit angry. What we would like you to do this afternoon, after you have drawn your picture, is just take a little bit of time to think about your feelings, share your feelings, and hopefully it'll make you feel a little bit better about how you have been feeling. You might not be feeling angry, you might be feeling very happy, you might be able to spend more time with somebody over the weekend. Certainly Mr. McGonagall's off over the weekend, and my boys are going to be feeling very happy that they can spend some more time with their dad this weekend. So think about your feelings. It doesn't need to be angry. I hope you have enjoyed drawing this character with us. So we have expressed our feelings through a picture, but I look forward to maybe seeing some of your pictures, and also if you feel that you want to chat to me or anyone else, please feel free to either send us a message on Teams or an email or contact the school. Thank you everyone, bye.